Hi, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Scott Farmer, and today I just wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about the trucking industry and why it's so important. I've worked in the trucking industry for many years now, and I'd like to share some facts as to why it's so vital and so important to our country. I've been working for UPS Freight Truckload Division for nearly 3 years now. I've worked in a variety of trucking jobs before UPS, and I've been able to learn firsthand just how important trucking is to our nation. So today I'd like to discuss three major aspects of the trucking industry and how they relate to all of us consumers. First of which would be the amount of freight that is hauled by truck, the rules and regulations of the trucking industry, and the impacts on consumers and the importance of being informed. Okay, so for my first topic, I want to just talk about what truckers actually haul, which is everything. Completely everything. Everything that you could possibly think of is loaded on a truck at some point in its journey to you. Truck drivers in the larger trucking industry are responsible for the safe handling, storage, and delivery of virtually all of life's necessities. Truckers are responsible for carrying 85% of the nation's cargo by value and 70% by weight, according to the Federal Highway Administration. All right, the next thing I want to talk to you guys about is just a very brief overview of the hours of service regulations and how they impact truck drivers and also how they impact the industry on the whole and how that impact relates to all of us consumers. The hours of service regulations are really meant to keep our highways safe. Its impact, however, is really multifaceted. The hours of service regulations are implemented by the Federal Highway Administration and enforced by each state's Department of Transportation. They are meant to regulate how long and how often a driver can be behind the wheel. The hours of service dictates when breaks have to be taken and how long a driver needs to be off duty before returning to work. The current hours of service allows for a 14-hour workday, 11 hours of drive time, 10 hours off duty between work shifts, and you must take a half-hour break within your first 8 hours of work. While there are many other facets of the hours of service regulations, we don't have the time to go into every single aspect of it. But this should give you a basic information for those of you who are unfamiliar. Okay. And my final point today, I just want to talk to you guys about the impacts of the trucking industry on consumers. So the hours of service regulations were designed to make sure drivers aren't on the road for longer than is safe and also to protect other drivers. But its implementation creates difficulties for both trucking companies and drivers. Scheduling deliveries are complicated due to hours of service regulations, causing delays and additional freight costs to the shipper, carrier, and receiver. When a driver is delayed due to traffic or lengthy loading or unloading, their ability to complete their work is compromised. Not only does this cause additional stress to the driver and carrier, the driver's pay is being impacted, most often negatively. In addition, and most impacting, is the results these delays have on the price of goods. As the price of transportation of goods increase, so will the price on the shelves. And here I just gave a very basic graphic of just the relation between the rise in shipping costs versus the rise in the price of goods. There's many different issues here that relate to shipping costs and how those relate in millions of dollars that are additions to the carrier and the trucking industry in general. And over here is just another basic graphic on the impacts to the consumers, the jobs that it affects, the quantity of goods, whether or not there will be a shortage or overage of goods due to trucking industry costs, the wages that people are being paid, and also most importantly the price that we all pay for the items that we want to buy at the store. So in conclusion, the trucking industry is a vital component of our economy. Without it, the country would cease to function. In this speech, I briefly discussed how and why the trucking industry is so important, and in the following ways. The costs associated with the trucking industry have many various impacts on consumers. DOT regulations have multifaceted effects on the trucking industry, and truckers literally run America. In conclusion, not only is the trucking industry important, but so is your being informed about the ways politics tries to transform it. The trucking industry affects us all, from the regulations that dictate how truck drivers are to share the road to the ways industry impacts our wallets at the store. Thank you.